I was born different. Came into this world with a full head of white hair. While other kids went to school, I was home eating and sunbathing. My parents were stressed enough to go bald. And one day, a wise-looking old man showed up at our door. He stroked his beard and told my parents this girl has a free and untethered nature. She doesn't belong to the mundane world. I have a connection with her. If you trust this humble Taoist, allow me to stay at your home and guide her cultivation. I guarantee she'll live a wealthy and worry-free life. And so it went. Days were spent sitting in meditation with the old Taoist, nights studying star charts with him, while I dozed off on the side. Then came the year I came of age, and the palace held a selection for imperial consorts. The very first day I entered the palace, I cast a divination for myself. The reading said, do absolutely nothing and lie flat, that's how you win. And so began my life as a professional do-nothing. Skip the consort selection, fake sick to skip paying respects to the empress. When the emperor draws a name, deploy the full sneezing and runny nose combo package. The rest of the harem was out there clawing each other apart. Meanwhile, I was in my little broken-down courtyard, next to the cold palace, sleeping like the dead. My only complaint? The imperial kitchen was getting lazier with my meals. Greens and tofu, tofu and greens. I was practically turning green myself. And one day, the noble consort's Persian cat went missing. The whole palace was in chaos looking for it. The noise ruined my afternoon nap. Hair a complete mess. I pushed open my creaky broken gate, picked up a stick and scratched a few lines in the dirt. Go to the southeast corner of the imperial garden. Check the third-level rock crevice of the decorative mountain. The passing palace maids and eunuchs stared at me like I'd lost my mind. I yawned, shuffled back inside, and went back to sleep. Half an hour later, the noble consort showed up at my gate, clutching her recovered cat, face cycling through every color imaginable. How did you know? I calculated it. The next day my lunch came with a drumstick. A few days later, noble consort Yang stormed over, with a whole crew, and barged into my courtyard. Xia Qingwan, was this your doing? Her prized peonies had all wilted overnight. Petals all over the floor. I was crouching in the corner watching ants move house. Didn't even look up. 3 feet under the flower roots in the southwest corner, there's a voodoo doll buried there. Noble consort Yang didn't fully buy it, but had someone dig anyway. Sure enough, a cloth doll stuck full of needles, with her birth date written on it. Her face went white. Who did this? I brushed the dirt off my hands. The one in your palace, blue skirt, mole on her lip. Noble consort Yang stormed off with her people. Word has it, she rooted out a spy who'd been planted by a rival faction for years. My meals got an upgrade. 2 meat dishes, 1 veggie, plus a plate of delicate pastries. Word started spreading through the harem about me. That girl next to the cold palace is a little off. Heard she can tell fortunes. Probably just guessing. Then the empress came down with her chronic migraines. The imperial physicians were helpless. She couldn't sleep for nights on end from the pain. In Fengi Palace, someone with a big mouth apparently brought me up. Word spread, and the empress's head stewardess personally came to my courtyard to pay me a visit and ask about the empress's headaches. I was lying in my homemade broken lounge chair sunbathing, too lazy to even lift an eyelid. There's a piece of jade under her pillow, the one carved with a lotus. Take it out and throw it in the lotus pond. The next day, news came from Fengi Palace. Her Majesty the Empress slept soundly through the night. No more headache. My little courtyard suddenly got lively. Eunuchs lined up to deliver gifts. Silk brocade from the Empress. A jade bracelet from the noble consort. Even the imperial kitchen finally woke up. My little dining table had never looked so good. Braised lion's head meatballs, steamed sea bass, crystal shrimp dumplings. Oh wow. Looks like my days of lying flat were about to end. The trouble came anyway. Noble consort Yang had been looking at me differently. That look mixed wariness, jealousy, and scheming all in one. She ran into me in the imperial garden and gave me a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Xia Kairen, you're quite the celebrity these days. Even Her Majesty the Empress thinks highly of you now. You flatter me, noble consort. Just got lucky. Oh really? Then little sister, read my fortune. When will I bear the emperor a son? She stepped closer. The heavy perfume hit my nose and made it itch. The area went quiet. Every ear was perked up. This was a trap of a question. Get it right and they'll call it sorcery. Get it wrong and that's grounds for death. Noble consort. Perhaps you should see a physician first. What do you mean by that? Your perfume. There's dutong flower pollen mixed in, isn't there? Long-term exposure makes it harder to conceive. Noble consort Yang's face went paper white. She stumbled back a step, eyes locked onto me, looking like she wanted to swallow me whole. That night, someone pounded on my gate like the world was ending. A few fierce-looking stewardesses barged in. Xia Kairen, you have some nerve. How dare you poison the noble consort's incense? Come with us. Noble consort Yang's palace was blazing with light. She was lounging on a divan, face dark as a storm. It was her, she's the one, who ordered the servant to tamper with the noble consort's incense powder. A witness stepped forward. Xia Kairen caught red-handed. What do you have to say for yourself? Noble consort. That box of incense. You've been using it for quite a while, haven't you? What are you implying? That incense balm. It's made with Beauty's Bliss flower nectar from the northern frontier. Excellent for the complexion. But combined with the Snow Mountain ginseng tea you drink every day, ginseng tea runs hot, the nectar runs cold. Hot and cold clash. Over time, it becomes toxic. Nonsense. The imperial physicians only check the incense powder. They don't examine what you consume daily, and they'd never think to link these two things together. Haven't you been waking up in night sweats lately? Feeling a tightness in your chest in the mornings? Your monthly cycle a little off? Noble consort Yang's face shifted from white to ashen. She gripped her fist tight. She said nothing, but her expression said everything. I let out a sigh. That incense maid took 500 teals from a rival faction. What she mixed in was just ordinary flower pollen. At worst, it'd give you a few hives. The thing that's really hurting you is you yourself. Get out, all of you, out! The next day, noble consort Yang called in sick and refused to leave her chambers. The incense maid quietly vanished without a trace. The peace didn't last long. The second prince collapsed while reciting texts in the imperial study, foaming at the mouth, convulsing, and fell unconscious. The entire imperial medical office was mobilized, but found zero evidence of poison. The emperor was furious. He ordered a full investigation. They investigated, and every trail somehow pointed back to me. A young eunuch came forward. A few days ago, I saw the Xia Kairen lurking suspiciously near the imperial study. She buried something in the corner of the wall. The imperial guards dug up the corner of my courtyard wall and found a small Polonia wood figure stuck full of silver needles, with the second prince's birth date carved on it. A clear act of black magic. A capital offense of plotting against a prince. I was bound in iron chains and dragged before the emperor in the Yangshan Hall. The atmosphere was cold enough to kill. The emperor sat on the dragon throne, face unreadable. The empress wept at his side. Noble consort Yang had a barely concealed cold smile at the corner of her lips. Xia Kairen, do you know your crime? I knelt on the ice-cold stone floor. The iron chains were cutting into my wrists. I do not. You have both witness and physical evidence against you, and you still dare deny it? That wood figure is ironclad proof. I raised my head and looked up at the emperor on his throne. He was looking at me too. Eyes unreadable, fathomless. Your Majesty, that figure is not mine. The birth date carved on it is wrong. Nonsense! The second prince's birth date is the Renshin year, Guihai month, Wu hour. What's carved on that figure is the Renshin year, Guihai month, Gang Wu hours off by a full hour. The emperor stopped crying. The emperor's gaze sharpened. The head steward frantically snatched up the figure and examined it. His face drained of color on the spot. If you're really trying to curse someone, why would you use the wrong birth date? Whoever planted this did a pretty sloppy job. That's just sophistry. Who's to say you didn't carve it wrong on purpose? Also, you said you saw me burying something near the imperial study wall. Which day, what hour? 3 days ago. 3 days ago, I was at the abandoned well behind the cold palace, helping Lady Wang fish out her gold hairpin that had fallen in. Nanny Lu from the clothing bureau was there, as was the patrol captain of the 3rd Imperial Guard Unit, Wang Chao. Your Majesty can send someone to verify. I got the day wrong. It was 4 days ago. 4 days ago, Steward Zhao from the Imperial Household Bureau brought 3 junior eunuchs to deliver my winter coal. They were in my courtyard from the Shen hour all the way to the Yu hour. They can all vouch for me. The Yangshan Hall was so silent you could hear a pin drop. The emperor spoke slowly, voice giving nothing away. You're quite the diviner. Even our son's birth date, you know it down to the hour. Reporting to your Majesty, I didn't divine it. When the second prince had his 1-month ceremony, the Imperial Household Bureau was logging the records. I happened to walk by and caught a glance. Good memory. Nothing I can do about it. The young eunuch was dragged away. Noble consort Yang was punished for believing slander without verification. Confined to her quarters for 3 months, I was released without charge and sent back to my little courtyard. The head steward personally came to deliver the emperor's rewards, and along with them an imperial decree. His Majesty requests that you relocate. Relocate where? The side chamber of Chang'an Palace. Chang'an Palace. The emperor's own residential palace, side chamber. Is there any way I can decline? It's nice and quiet here. Please, Kairen, don't make things difficult for this servant. Life is rough. I was forcibly moved into the side chamber of Qiankan Palace. Gold and jade everywhere. Incense, warm, plush. And yet I was completely uncomfortable. Like a dried fish yanked out of the mud and dropped in a fancy goldfish bowl. The emperor would drop by occasionally. Never said much. Just sat there reviewing memorials or reading. I'd be on my side of the room, either napping or staring blankly out the window, counting the birds flying past. Then one day he came again. Finished working through a pile of memorials, rubbed his temples, and suddenly spoke. Yeah, read us a fortune. Read a what now? Our Kingdom. That one I won't read. Why not? Reading the fortune of a nation shortens your lifespan, and I still want to enjoy a few more years of the Imperial Kitchen's Lion's Head meatballs. Then read us. Read how long us will live. Every eunuch and palace maid in Yangshan Hall dropped to their knees instantly, heads buried as low as they'd go, not daring to breathe. I sighed. Your Majesty, you really want to know? You're absolutely sure? Fine, I'll say it. Consultation fee, 1,000 taels of gold, no tab. Ha 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 ha! This Ye Qingwan, bold one. He didn't push me to divine anything life-threatening. He just let me stay in the side chamber. Like a lucky charm. Or maybe more like a strange little ornament that somehow put him at ease. Then one day news came from the court. The southern regions were hit by a severe drought, scorched earth and refugees everywhere. The court had sent 3 rounds of disaster relief grain, a drop in the bucket. The people were furious. They were saying the Son of Heaven had lost virtue, and heaven itself was delivering punishment. The emperor hadn't slept properly in days. His face was dark enough to wring rain out of. He stood at the entrance of Chang'an Palace, staring into the dark curtain of rain. His silhouette looked heavy. He suddenly called my name. His voice was faint beneath the sound of the rain. Tell me, this disaster, is it truly my fault? Your Majesty, do you actually believe those rumors? A natural disaster is a natural disaster. What does that have to do with people? Can a person really control whether the sky rains or not? He turned around. His deep gaze settled on me. The Bureau of Astronomy says this is heaven's punishment. If they were really that good at reading the sky, they would have predicted the rain before it came. Wouldn't need to be scrambling now. Then in your view, how do we solve this natural disaster? If the heavens won't send rain, go find the heavens. Find them how? Your Majesty, have you considered whether something in the southern region might have upset the heavens? What do you mean? This servant is just guessing. But if someone dug a giant pit right outside your front door and dumped foul water there every single day, would you be pleased?
Of course not.
You'd be so put out you might not even want to step outside. You're saying, this servant said nothing at all. I just feel that when something is deeply unnatural, a land that vast going completely barren without a drop of rain, there must be a reason. The next day, the Emperor secretly dispatched 3 teams of trusted men to the southern region. Half a month later, an urgent report arrived at the Hall of Mental Cultivation by express courier. The Emperor read it in silence for a long while. Finally, he let out a long, slow breath. What a perfect way to put it, upsetting the heavens. The report revealed that 3 years ago, on the upper reaches of the Nanjiang, the largest river in the southern region, a powerful local clan had built an enormous stone dam without authorization, just to irrigate their own 10,000 acres of private farmland. It had cut off nearly 70% of the water flow to the entire south. Rivers that had once run full were drying up day by day. This year's severe drought only made things worse. The downstream had run completely dry. The people had nothing, and the clan behind it all was a distant cousin of noble consort Yang's family, running roughshod over the local people under her name. No one dared touch them. The imperial edict came down, swift as a thunderclap. The illegal dam was blown apart. The Nanjiang surged free once more. The clan's estate was seized. They were thrown in prison. Noble consort Yang was implicated, stripped of her title, demoted to consort, and confined to her quarters for a year. The Yang family's power was dismantled. A month later, the drought in the southern region eased. The people could breathe again. Those sent to handle it returned home with honor. A catastrophe that might have shaken the very foundation of the realm was dissolved as if it had never been. The Emperor held a small private banquet in the Qiankun Palace. Just the 2 of us. The dishes were exquisite. Mr. Qingwan, you've earned great merit this time. What reward do you want? I set down my chopsticks and gave it serious thought. Could we swap out the Zaitan rosewood bed in the side chamber for this servant's old soft mattress? The bed's too hard. This servant's back aches every morning. He held his wine cup and stared at me for a long moment, then sighed. Jia Qingwan, you are truly one of a kind. This servant thanks your Majesty for the compliment. Life settled back into its quiet rhythm. I was still in the side chamber of Qiankun Palace, now sleeping on a custom firm bed commissioned by the imperial household. The imperial kitchen kept sending up new dishes to tempt me, but the way the Emperor looked at me was growing stranger by the day. Sometimes like a puzzle he couldn't figure out, sometimes with a faint, helpless smile. Before long, the autumn hunt arrived. The imperial hunting grounds were alive with banners and fine horses. Hooves thundered. The Emperor was in high spirits, riding ahead of everyone into the depths of the hunting grounds. I was wrapped in a thick fur coat, tucked into a corner of the viewing platform, hugging a hand warmer, half asleep. I had zero interest in any of this chasing and killing business. Then suddenly, frantic hoofbeats, distant then immediately close, followed by urgent shouts. The entire grounds erupted. His Majesty is in danger! The Empress shot to her feet in alarm. The court officials descended into chaos. The commander of the Imperial Guard immediately rallied troops to mount a rescue. The scene was pandemonium. The crowd screaming jolted me awake. What? What's happening? His Majesty is cornered deep in the hunting grounds. A tiger, apparently. My heart lurched. Every trace of sleepiness vanished. On instinct, my fingers flew through the divination gestures hidden inside my sleeve. Deep in the hunting grounds, in the dense forest, the Emperor, longbow in hand, facing off against an enormous, clearly enraged white gold-striped tiger. The tiger growled low, fangs bared. The Emperor gripped his golden bow tighter, eyes sharp, bracing for a fight to the death. At this most critical moment, a breathless voice, slightly cracking, rang out completely out of nowhere. Somehow or other, I had pushed through the panicked guards. Your Majesty, don't move, and run to the very front. Hair flying loose, fur collar lopsided, clutching a fistful of something in my hand. Something that looked like dried licorice root, and a few dead twigs, looking absolutely disheveled and ridiculous. This servant is in danger. Fall back, don't be reckless. The shouts behind me were deafening, but I didn't seem to hear a word. My eyes were locked on the tiger. Then a quick scan. The Emperor and the terrain around him. The fingers in my sleeve moved faster, just as the tiger ran out of patience completely, unleashing a roar that shook the earth. And in the split second before it pounced, I moved, not backward. I lunged 2 steps forward, as every person watching looked on in absolute horror. I took that messy fistful of licorice and dead branches, and with every ounce of strength I had, hurled it toward a nondescript patch of ground, along the tiger's flank, a small slope dotted with low scrub bushes. I threw it hard. Go! The licorice and twigs scattered, drifting through the air. A few strands even landing on the tiger's head. The animal seemed thrown completely off by this sudden, utterly harmless little attack. It shook its great head, let out a low snarl, the ferocity in its eyes blazing even hotter. Fully enraged now, it abandoned the Emperor and wheeled its massive body toward me, surging forward with a gust of hot, rank air. "Watch out!" Screams erupted on all sides. The Emperor's face went white. He drew his bow to shoot. Then, in this moment between life and death, everything shifted. The tiger's body, mid-lunge in the air, suddenly dropped without any warning. A tremendous crash, accompanied by the tiger's howl of shock and pain. Its enormous body had plunged straight into the slope, where I had thrown the branches. Dust billowed. The ground gave way. A vast, dark pit opened up. From the bottom came the tiger's furious, terrified roaring and thrashing, and the sickening crack of breaking bone. Everyone stood frozen, staring at the pit that had appeared from nowhere, staring at the tiger struggling uselessly inside it, then staring at me, standing at the edge of the pit, hand pressed to my chest, wearing an expression of pure, I nearly died. Dead silence. Only the tiger's indignant roars rising from below. It came out later. The site had been a large hunting trap from a previous dynasty, built specifically to catch large predators. The Emperor, escorted by guards, walked to the edge of the pit. He looked down at the tiger lying at the bottom, legs broken, fading fast. Then he looked at me, dusty, disheveled, hair in absolute chaos. His expression was impossible to read. He was silent for a long moment, then finally said just two words: "Return to the palace." After the fright at the hunting grounds, the atmosphere in Qiankun Palace turned a little strange. The way the Emperor looked at me now carried something new. Scrutiny, and a trace of wariness he couldn't quite hide. An imperial edict followed. He moved me out of the side chamber, and granted me a private courtyard residence. The Huanjing courtyard, not too near his private quarters, not too far. Far grander than anything a junior consort had any right to. Gifts flowed in like a stream. Silks and satins, jewelry piling up until the storeroom was full. But I'd been quietly isolated. Apart from the eunuchs delivering things, very few people visited. I was perfectly content. Every day I sat in the courtyard of Jingxi Garden, basking in the sun, cracking melon seeds, sampling whatever new pastries the imperial kitchen had come up with. 3 months passed. The winter plum blossoms in Jingxi Garden were at their finest, their fragrance drifting soft and faint. He came alone through the snow, without a single attendant. I was wrapped in a blanket on the covered walkway, holding my hand warmer, watching the snow fall. "Life here is quite comfortable. All thanks to your majesty." He sat down on the stone bench beside me. Stone is cold. He didn't seem to mind. "Xia Qingwan, I've been thinking for a long time. What is it you actually want?" "What this servant wants has always been very simple. To be alive, to eat well, to sleep well. Ideally without anyone bothering me. That's all. Do you know how many people would give anything for the gift you have, if it were put to use in service of the Emperor? Divination is like a blade. Used well, it saves lives. Used poorly, it destroys them, and you along with them. This servant has a small courage. Fears losing years off her life, fears trouble even more. I just want to be a salted fish in the sun. Flip over once in a while." He fell silent. He looked at the white snow in the courtyard, the red plum blossoms, and said nothing for a long time. When spring arrived, an imperial edict shook the entire palace. Junior consort Xia, gentle in nature, virtuous in conduct, is hereby specially conferred the title of Empress, to preside over the inner palace from Jingxi Courtyard. The gilded imperial decree. The eunuch's practiced carrying voice still echoed in the hall. I knelt on the floor, completely blank. Your Majesty, staring at that brilliant yellow imperial decree. My mind was utterly empty. I came back to myself, looked at that scroll of imperial yellow, like I was looking at a hot coal. "Eunuch, your majesty, is it possible to decline an imperial edict?" The eunuch's knees nearly gave out. He almost fell to the floor himself. "Your majesty, oh your majesty, please don't." The phoenix crown and ceremonial robes nearly crushed me. I stood there in a headdress that must have weighed 30 pounds, moved around like a puppet, got through the grand enthronement ceremony, and received the bows of all the officials and palace consorts. Noble consort. Yang Burst, the former highest consort, knelt below, eyes full of venom, and a deep, helpless resignation. She didn't dare make a single move. The ceremony ended. Back in the even more magnificently furnished Phoenix Palace, I collapsed flat onto the enormous Phoenix bed, completely drained. "Quick, help me get all this off!" The palace maids suppressed their laughter, and scrambled to lift the towering headdress off my head. That evening the Emperor came. He waved everyone out. The vast bedchamber was left with just the two of us. "How do you feel?" My neck is about to snap. A low laugh. He walked behind me, and warm fingers pressed gently against the back of my neck. The pressure was just right. Why me? Because you're lazy. Because you hate trouble. Because all you want to do is drift through life like a salted fish. Xia Qingwan, our empire is too vast. The inner palace runs too deep. We need an empress, one who will not stir up storms, will not build factions, will not scheme to bear a prince and grasp for power. Ideally someone who doesn't even particularly want the throne of empress herself. Only then can we have peace of mind. Only then can this inner palace truly be still. I went quiet. So what he valued was precisely my nature as a salted fish. No desires, no ambitions. So your consort is basically a decorative ward-off charm. You could put it that way. Your Majesty, let's negotiate. The duties that come with being Empress. Can someone else do them for me? Such as? Things like managing the 6 palaces, chatting with the consorts, presiding over ritual ceremonies. Please, preferably don't come looking for me. Sure, really? Your Majesty. A sovereign's word is binding. And you only need to do one thing. What's that? Just exist. Lie around, eat well, sleep well. Don't worry about a thing. Deal. And so the inner palace witnessed a most peculiar sight. The Empress, perpetually ill, doors shut, never going out. The imperial seal handed off to consort Xian, reliable, steady, and conveniently childless. Palace affairs delegated entirely to the capable consort Diu. As for all the petty dramas, consorts competing for favor, jealousy, grudges, that was entirely the Emperor's headache to sort out. My only duty was to show up at the major occasions each year that required a face, wear the absurdly heavy phoenix crown, and stand there as a ceremonial decoration. The Emperor would stop by Fengyi Palace every now and then. Sometimes he'd come after finishing his memorials, just to sit for a while. Have a cup of tea I supposedly brewed, actually the palace maid's work. Other times he'd simply lie down at the other end of my specially made, extra-cushioned chaise longue, read for a bit or nap for a moment. Days drifted by, quiet, unhurried, unremarkable. I lay in the Empress's seat for 10 full years. Footsteps approached, light and steady, carrying that familiar, faintly smoky ink and sandalwood scent, coming to rest beside me. I was too lazy to open my eyes. Your Majesty, done with today's memorials? Those old fellows weren't bickering today. They argued over the canal funding. Oh, did you win? Let them argue. Then I slashed 30% from the budget. Told them if they kept going, I'd cut the whole thing. They all shut up. Wise as ever, Your Majesty. He seemed to sit down on the stone bench beside me. A quiet moment passed. These leisurely years and his being Empress been good to you? I opened one eye. The evening sun's golden light fell over him, softening his outline. Fine lines had appeared at the corners of his eyes. Good, except the phoenix crown is too heavy. Everything else is perfectly fine, except the phoenix crown is too heavy. We sometimes wonder, pushing you into this position, did we wrong you? Not at all. Your Majesty, look. I pointed at the brilliant sunset painting the horizon, at the peonies blooming lavishly in the courtyard, at the delicate pastries arranged on the lacquered table, and finally, at the soft, impossibly fine cloud brocade draped over my own shoulders. No rising at dawn to pay respects, no scheming against anyone, no wading through ledgers and trivial palace business. Eat when I want, sleep when I want, gifts and allowances delivered on schedule without lifting a finger. This life was practically custom-made for someone as spectacularly lazy as me. Your consort is lying here in absolute comfort. The Emperor looked at me for a long moment. The golden glow of the setting sun settled in his eyes, like warm gold slowly melting. And finally he laughed. In that laugh there was relief, ease, and a quiet warmth, like a weight he'd been carrying had finally lifted. Good. If you're comfortable, then we can rest easy. The evening breeze was gentle. Dusk flowed like a river. The glazed tiles of Fengyi Palace glimmered in the last sliver of fading light, warm and luminous, like a fish that had finally found its perfect, shallow, sun-warmed sandbar, lazily rolling over, basking in the sun, blowing a contented little bubble. Life is long, winning by doing nothing, not bad at all.